Hello everybody, welcome back to Firefield Junction, and once again we've got another review for you today. Now before we get into the video properly, I will just mention I have unfortunately got a cold at the moment, so apologies if I have to keep pausing the video, or if you keep hearing me sniffing or something, or if I just sound a little bit drowsy. Basically if I just don't sound as I usually do. Apologies for that, but yeah, unfortunately the common cold has unfortunately found its way to me. So yeah, not doing too great right now, but I'm still here. I'm still feeling well enough to get some videos out for you. And today, as we can see, we've got another pacer for us. Now, I have already looked at a pacer before, obviously. I've looked at the First Great Western one. But the reason I'm doing this one is, I suppose, two reasons, really. Number one, this isn't mine. This belongs to a fellow modeler that sent it to me, along with a couple of other DMUs that needed work doing. This is one of the units that needed work doing. So that's, I suppose, the second reason really is why I'm doing this review as well. Is I was going to do a video of me basically of me showing you. Well, yeah, basically, so you can see me. So you could have seen me basically doing the work on this model. However, due to various reasons that I won't go into, because otherwise we'll be here for ages, that video unfortunately fell through. So I'm doing a review on the model instead. I won't go into as much detail with this one in terms of livery and tooling and everything, because I've obviously looked at a pacer before. So if you want to see me do a proper review on one of these, then go and check out my review of the First Great Western one. But yeah, but today we've obviously got the Northern livery. Very nice livery actually. Obviously not the correct region for me, but still nice nonetheless. So if we just look at the end of the box, we can see the model code R3140. It's a Northern Rail Class 142, and it's 142026. DCC ready, which is good, and this model has got a chip in it, so that we can run it on DCC. And as you can see, it's also got passengers fitted as well. It doesn't come fitted with passengers this particular model. The owner of this model has done that themselves, I believe, or if they bought it second hand, maybe the previous owner did it. I'm not too sure. But we won't waste any more time. Let's get the model open. We'll have a look. So it's the fairly standard Hornby packaging. We're all used to this by now. So if we just take out the motor units first, we might as well have a look at this. Yeah, might as well do the motor unit first. So obviously the Hornby pacer, it's not too bad. It's okay. It's not the best pacer in the world, but overall it's okay. Livery application is really good. Obviously the motor on this particular unit, it's just a typical little 3-pole motor just here, and it just drives this axle here, which has got traction tyres, unfortunately. But luckily the model does have plenty of other pickups, at least when the pickups are working, to keep it going. That's one of the reasons this model was sent to me, is because I did have to fix most of the pickups as well. And this is the main reason I'm probably doing this review as well, is obviously this electrical connection here. It is not your typical electrical connection that you get on the Hornby Pacers. If I just grab the dummy unit for you as well, you can then see the other end of the connection there. Basically, one of the main reasons this model was sent to me is obviously, one, the pickups needed realigning anyway, but also the old electrical connection that this model used previously, which is obviously the typical copper contacts, like spring-loaded contacts sort of mechanism. Sorry, I'm struggling to get my words out. But yeah, I've replaced the old copper contacts with a proper plug-in socket, because I did originally try to salvage the old electrical connection, but it was so far gone I just couldn't. So what I've done, and the owner was very happy for me to do this. In fact, they almost enforced it really. I've installed a proper plug-in socket mechanism to the two units, so now that there's a nice, proper, reliable connection between the two units. It doesn't really matter what happens, the connection will always work. Obviously, as long as none of the wires come off or none of the pins are bent or anything. But it is a far more reliable solution than what was on the model previously. But now at least now it's got this connection. It's definitely working as it should do. It's running really well, so at least that's good. But going back to the model itself, again, not too bad. Again, beautiful livery application. You can feel all of the rivets around the windows and all around the body. You've got the typical sort of collapsing style doors there. You can just see inside there you've got the chip. There's also a stay alive there as well, but for some reason it doesn't seem to work on this model. I'm not sure why. I have tried to get it working, but it doesn't want to work. It could be maybe some of the CVs and the decoder need changing, but I'm not too sure. But to us, even without the stay alive, the model will still run fine. Because I obviously have one of these, it doesn't have a stay alive, it still uses the old copper contacts, and it still runs just as well as this one does, so that's fine. But overall, yeah, not too bad. Still a very nice model. Plenty of weight, which is good. If we just go over to the dummy car, again, obviously you can see through more of the units because there's no chip or stay alive or anything there, and there's obviously no motor on this unit as well. Again, I still probably need to put some lubrication on this axle because this axle seems to jam up if it's left for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure why, but I might put a bit of oil on it to stop it jamming up. But yeah, once you get it moving, it seems to be fine. But again, just as good as the motor unit. Again, livery application is very, very good. You can see the passengers inside there. Again, loads and loads of rivets. Obviously the roof, a bit bland, but again, you don't really get any... On most trains, you don't really get very exciting roofs anyway, especially with units like this. And then on the end, again, well, fairly bland, I suppose. Then you've obviously got the other end of the plug and socket that I've installed there. But yeah, overall, not too bad. Can't complain. It's a very nice model. Obviously, this particular one is very rare now, I believe. But overall, it's not too bad. It's very, very good. So let's put it on the track and see what it runs like. Okay, here we are. Obviously, we're pretty sure we're used to seeing this part of the layout by now. I've coupled the two units together, as you can see. And as you can see, the electrical plug has been plugged in as well. The way I've recommended for the owner to couple these two units together is to do the regular coupling first, and then flip the model upside down, and then do the electrical coupling. That's the way that I find works best, and it shouldn't cause any damage either. So if we just put the model onto the track, there we go, nice and easy to do. Now I believe she's number 1. At least that's what she came programmed as when she came to me. So that's what I've left her as. There we go. Now we've got power. Sorry about that. It had a few technical issues there, but we're all plugged in. We're ready to go. So let's just give her a bit of a wiggle. Yeah, she's a bit rough, but again, the chip in here is only a Lay's DCC decoder, so you've got a very basic chip with a very basic mechanism. So the two probably don't work incredibly well together, but once she's up to some speed, then she's quite smooth. If we just go backwards a bit. Yeah, overall, not too bad. For a very basic mechanism, because it literally is just a 3-pole motor, worm drive, straight to the gear on the axle, that's it. So there's nothing else to the mechanism really. So for a very basic mechanism, that's not too bad. It's quite smooth. With a high quality decoder, it'll probably be smoother. Although saying that to my word isn't much smoother than this, but overall, it's not too bad. But anyway, let's get her running and see what she's like. So I've got her going at about 50% speed, and overall it's not too bad. I might have speeded her up a little bit actually, it's a bit slower than I thought. If we just head over to the controller, there we go. I know it's set to what it says 158766, but that's because that's the units that takes up number 1 on my layout. But again, if we speed up a bit, there we go, that's a bit better. Overall, she's not too bad. Obviously, she's not dead smooth, but I'd say for the mechanism she has and for the chip that she has in her, that's not too bad. Overall, a fantastic model in my opinion. Very, very good. Just need to head over some boxes. There we go. So yeah, overall, she's okay. Obviously, she's not the best in the world, but as she is, she's not too bad. If you want a Hornby Pacer, I definitely recommend you get one.